What's poppin', people? Welcome to MSG PM, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your app is ready, Emperor. You are currently watching one of Julius Randle's greatest games from his breakout season this past year, and I am joined by my man, my mellow, my boy, Jeff Eisenband. Jeff, what's going on, partner?
Well, I think it's poetic, Kaz, that we're starting this Caesars Sportsbook segment with little Julius talk.
I see what you did there. I see
I'm trying.
There. But yeah, I'm always good for a good pun, all right? So pun me all day. But like we were saying, man, this game that we're watching right now, February 15th against the Atlanta Hawks, Julius Randle dropped 44 points in a win, an incredible game. I remember watching it live and then going on MSG PM right after and calling him the cornrow Larry Bird because that dude was playing out of his mind all season long. Jeff, talk to me about his breakout season this year, man. I don't know if anybody saw it coming, but boy, did he put the NBA on notice.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were thinking about his MVP odds or anything like that at the beginning of the year, they probably weren't even on the list for Julius Randle. You know, we thought he'd be the first option for the Knicks, and he was that and more. And this game on February 15th was kind of, I think, when you put yourself in a time machine and go back to February, was a time he put himself on the stage and said to people, I am here. I am the first option on a playoff team. You need to respect me. And when you look at those numbers, 24.1 points per game, 10.2 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, the guy was all over the place doing everything for the Knicks.
Yeah, and it almost was, I guess, a little tease of what was to come later on in the season, right? The Atlanta Hawks were a tough team throughout the entire year, even though they didn't really get together until the playoff run. But the one thing you remember is Julius Randle making big shots all game long, all season long. And the New York Knicks rewarded him by offering him a 4-year extension while they will commit to each other through Julius's prime and through the Knicks' immediate future. It really looks like Julius Randle is going to be a big part of the New York Knicks' future and rise to the top of the Eastern Conference. They already got off to a great start this year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next year, man, because he played a season for the ages. When you're talking about somebody that was dropping 24 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists every single night, that is not easy to come by. Those are Hall of Fame numbers. Those are all-star numbers. And he got all the accolades, all the praise. It was well-deserved, and it was good to see the man get paid, man. I love seeing somebody get paid.
Yeah, I mean, people, if they need a refresher, 8th in MVP voting last year, was on the All-NBA second team. Again, something no one saw coming before the season. We mentioned how big this game was against Atlanta, and I know a lot of people are going to point to the playoffs and they're going to say, you know, it was a different Knicks-Hawks series, Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think about DeAndre Hunter and that defensive lineup that the Hawks brought. But I also think Julius Randle is going to continue to grow. You know, like we said, people not seeing this coming, he's only going to get better as time goes along. I think he goes into this offseason. I think he adjusts to what he saw from that Hawks defense in the playoffs and realizes, hey, people are going to target me. I'm the guy now. That's what was happening at the end of the season. And he goes into this year, when you look at his MVP odds at plus 7,500, those are the same odds as Bradley Beal and Domantas Sabonis. So when we're talking about the respect that Julius Randle is getting, I mean, Bradley Beal, you can already point with no Russell Westbrook. You can almost say that's Westbrook Thunder numbers, you know, primed and ready to go for Beal this year. But those are the same odds as Julius Randle.
Yeah, so let's pull up a little bit of those MVP odds that you just mentioned, courtesy of Caesars Sportsbook. Right now, we got Luka Doncic leading the favorites at a plus 425, followed by Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, the two-time MVP and reigning NBA champion Giannis Antetokounmpo, Stephen Curry, and of course, you can't have any MVP odds without LeBron James. Jeff, what name sticks out the most for you out of all these people in front of the MVP odds?
I'm staring at Giannis. You talked about him, two-time MVP, NBA Finals MVP last year. I mean, you know, he took a step back in the MVP voting basically because the Bucks took a step back. We're only third in the regular season. I mean, we could talk so much about how teams, and you've seen it from LeBron in different years. You saw it from James Harden after he won an MVP. Maybe guys, I don't want to say they take their foot off the pedal during the regular season, but they have their eyes on something different. Giannis has his title now. So to me, him sitting back here at fourth, I think he's going to come back in the regular season. I think think now with Drew Holiday accustomed to that team, you saw the Bucks progress in the second half of the season. That's going to be an outstanding team. He's still, you could argue, I think him and Durant are 1A and 1B in terms of the top players in the NBA. If you're going to give me the fourth best odds for Giannis, I'm probably going to take those.
Speaking of good odds, I'm looking at those same names, and Kevin Durant. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's coming off an Olympic gold medal, who is, if he wore a size 14 instead of a size 16, he'd probably be in the Eastern Conference Finals or championship himself right now. But I look at his numbers, and I just see an incredible story unfolding right there. We all know the MVP is all about narrative. It's all about what's the great story. And last year, we were all seeing if Kevin Durant was going to be anything close to what he was before he blew out his Achilles, one of the most devastating injuries you can have as an NBA player. And we haven't seen a whole lot of people come back from it. But not only did KD come back, he returned to form as one of the best players in all of basketball and lead Team USA to a gold medal, which wasn't easy. I mean, it's been easy in years past, but he definitely needed to bring his A game to bring that gold medal home. So I'm not mad at Kevin Durant trying to make that MVP run. We're in the year 4 of this Brooklyn experiment, and if they're going to try and win a championship, it's going to be on the shoulders of his, and he'll have to play like an MVP. So I like those odds. Speaking of which, let's look at some more potential MVP odd candidates, courtesy of Caesar Sportsbook. Dame Lillard, like that guy, topped that list, plus 1,200. Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP at 1,400. Trae Young and Devin Booker both share 2,000 point odds, as well as James Harden and Anthony Davis at 2,500 odds right there, courtesy of Caesar Sportsbook. Jeff, what name speaks out to you the most out of these guys right here?
I need to take a second because I don't want to say it. I really don't, Kaz, but I have to say it.
I know
Look
you don't
at Trae Young at plus 2,000.
Don't want to say it.
None of us want to say it. No one in New York City limits wants to say that. But the honest fact of the matter is, look what this guy did in the playoffs, taking the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. And it's got that feeling of, if you remember, Derrick Rose had that big playoff series against the Celtics. I believe that was in his second season. He came back and he won the MVP. Kevin Durant had that early Thunder series against Kobe and the Lakers, and you started to see guys show up in the playoffs, and that's when they earned their stripes in the NBA. And now Trae Young coming back with a great Hawks team, knowing he can get it done. You know he's going to have the ball in his hands. You know he's going to be doing everything. It's hard not to look at that and say, even if Luka Doncic, right, because we're always going to compare Trae Young to Luka, even if Luka is the better overall player, is Trae going to be the MVP player for the Hawks? And the other name, I'll throw out a second name, Nikola Jokic, who's the reigning MVP, is on the second page of these odds. It almost doesn't make any sense. You're getting a healthy Jamal Murray back. You're probably getting a better Nuggets team at some point this year. There's no reason that team can't be the top team in the West. And if you're going to have the top regular season record, you're going to be the top guy, a guy like Jokic that does everything. He should be higher in this conversation.
Well, I like a lot of these odds. I like all these opportunities to make a little bread on the side. But, Jeff, it was great talking with you. Stick around later on. We're going to talk some more throughout the week and possibly throughout the rest of the summer as MSG PM rolls on. Thanks for tuning in, people. This has been MSG PM presented by Caesar Sportsbook. Your app is ready, Emperor.